Hello my dear students, today I am going to discuss a new topic from the employment chapters, and the name is participation of people in employment. Okay, so first of all you should know about the participation. Okay, so it refers to the employment activities. Participation means refers to employment activities, means how many workers are participating in different kinds of economic activities, and that is known as participation of people in employment. So in a simple word we can say that worker population ratio is used to measure the participation of people, is known as participation of people in employment. Is it clear? Now, worker population ratio is an indicator of population that is actively contributing to the production of goods and services of a country. Okay, so we can say it is the ratio. If the ratio is higher, it means the engagement of people is very high or greater. If the ratio is medium or low, it means a very high population, a very high proportion of the people or workforce is not involved directly in economic activities. So, worker population ratio is calculated by dividing the total number of workers in India. So, we can also write down that the workforce participation ratio is equal to total workers divided by total population into 100 is equal to what? Participation ratio. Ratio of workforce. So this is the basic formula. Is it clear? So on that basis we can define as a total number of people who resides in a particular locality at a particular point of time, that is known as participation. Once again, participation of population can be defined as the total number of people who resides in a particular locality at a particular point of time for economic activities, that is known as the participation ratio of workforce. Okay, or workforce participation ratio. So in our country, what you find? Basically we find that the male workers are more employed in compared to female workers. So here we can say women in general and urban women in particular are not working. Okay, one of the main reason is that many activities undertaken by women are not recognized as productive work. For example, suppose my wife is working in the house, so her contribution we are not going to recognize it because she is not getting the cash payment or so on. On the other hand, compared to the females, more males are found to be working. It is common to find that females or the families in India always discourage. Okay, or families of India always discourage female workers or female members to work because men are able to earn high incomes it is the mindset of the people, and that's why we find that the participation of women in the Indian economy is very less. Is it clear? Now come to the second, distribution of employment in different sectors. Distribution of employment in different sectors. Okay, so different sectors. We know that there are three main sectors. One is known as the primary sector, second is known as secondary sectors, and third is known as service sectors. Is it clear? So here economic development of a country, okay, flow from the agriculture, that is the primary sector, second construction and farm, that will come under the secondary sectors, and the service sector means offices, hospitals, banking, insurance, okay, that will come under the service sector. So all the people are engaged in these sectors and they are involved in the economic activities. Even the rural people, means from the primary sectors, the people are migrating day by day in the urban areas in search of job. Okay, so in this way we can say the whole sectors can be divided into 8 parts. First, that is the agriculture, mining, both will come under primary sectors. Manufacturing, that will come under secondary sector. Construction, that will come under secondary sector. Electricity, gas, water supply, trade, transport, storage and other services will come under tertiary sectors. Is it clear? So we have already learned all these things in previous years or even from the standard 10. So on that basis, here I am going to discuss some facts. So primary sector is available in the rural areas and urban areas both, because in the rural areas the most important is the agriculture, and in the urban areas that will come under the mining. Like that, secondary sector is also located in the rural areas and in the urban areas. So most of the mineral based industries are located in urban areas, whereas most of the agro based industries are located in rural areas. If we move towards the service sector we find in all those places, either it is the urban or it is the rural. Okay, now so in this way I have divided it on the basis of rural and urban. And if we discuss on the basis of sex, that is the male and female or men or women, we find that in the primary sectors, in the secondary sectors and in the tertiary sectors, women and men both are engaged. But we find that most of the women are engaged in the primary sectors. Okay, most of the women are engaged in primary sector because our total population lives in the rural areas and these are the unskilled workers, so they also participate their family members in the economic activities. Clear? I think it is very easy to understand. Now come to the actual division. Okay, so here it is told that the primary sector is the major source of employment for a majority of workers in India. It is assumed that nearly 49% of workforce in the primary sector. How much? That is the 49% workforce in rural areas. Okay, because it is the rural areas and urban. So it would be better to write 49% workforce are in primary. After that I will try to divide on the basis of urban and rural. So how many people are engaged? That is the 49%. Where they are engaged? They are engaged in primary sectors. Okay. So tertiary sector is the next main source of employment with about 27%. 27% workforce are in service sector. Service sector. Okay. So if we add, what we find? 9 plus 1 7, 16, 4 plus 2 6, plus 1 7, 76. So how much that is the remaining? That is the workforce 24%. Okay. So 100 minus 76 is equal to 24% workforce are in secondary sector. Clear? So in this way we can distribute the facts that the most of the people are engaged in primary sectors. Clear? So primary sectors, as you know, includes agriculture, forestry, fishing, mining. So it is the main source of employment in rural areas. If we compare it with the urban areas, we find that the contribution of these workforce is very less, because agriculture, forestry and fishing basically is done in the rural areas. So it provides the maximum job opportunities to the rural people. If we discuss about the secondary sector, what we find? So manufacturing industries, construction work will come under the secondary sectors. So it is not a major source of employment basically in the rural areas. Clear? So most of the firms are located in urban areas. So if we think that most of the people in the secondary sectors are engaged, either they are living in the urban area or sub-urban areas. Okay. So nowadays the construction work is growing with a faster rate, and some of new kind of industries is also being set up in different parts of the country. So the employment opportunities not only in the urban areas has increased, but also in the rural areas. Service sector is the another major source of employment for the people in the urban areas. It is assumed that about 60% employments are engaged in the urban areas in service sectors. It is because of better infrastructure facilities such as banking, insurance, transport and etc. So overall we can say that both men and women workers are concentrated in the primary sectors. Women workers are the women workers contribution is very high in the rural areas. About 63% of the female workforce is employed in the primary sectors, whereas less than half of the male work in the primary sectors. So it is because women are confined to work in the primary sector due to lack of a skill, education and their poor economic conditions. Okay, men got opportunities in both secondary and service sectors because people think that male has high power to earn money, and that's why they easily migrate from one place to another place. Is it clear? So in this way, we find that the distribution of employment in different sectors is different. Okay, now come to the next topic, and next topic is our that is the growth and changing a structure of employment. Growth and changing a structure growth and changing a structure of employment. Okay, so growth and changing a structure of employment means what? So growth of employment and growth of gross domestic products both are interdependent to each other. Okay, so development indicators takes both how many people are engaged and what is our gross domestic products. So as much as the employment will increase, the output will also increase. Okay, so since 60 years of planned and development, India aimed what? To expand their economy through increase in national products and employment. So more employment indicates more output, more output indicates more national income or more gross domestic products. So during the period of 1950 to 2010, what we find? We find that GDP of India grew positively. Okay, sometimes it increases with a rapid speed up to 7 or 8%. Sometimes it increases at a very slow rate, that is the 4 or 5%. Okay, so higher than the here the growth of employment. If the GDP is increases at a faster rate, it means the growth of employment is also increasing at a higher rate. Clear? So we can say that there is always fluctuations in the growth rate. Sometimes it increases, sometimes it decreases. Due to that, the employment ratio will not be stable. It will also fluctuate. Sometimes we find that it is the situation of boom, and sometimes we face the problem of recession or depressions. So stability rate is very low in our country in respect of employment. Okay, so during this period there was a widened gap between the growth rate of the economy and the employment opportunities. So in this way we can say that if we want to produce more goods and services without generating employment, it means we are moving towards the jobless growth. So one last question may be asked from you: what do you mean by jobless growth? So jobless growth refers to a situation in which less employment opportunity generates and more output takes place, and basically it happens due to capitalistic forms of production. Okay, or more capitals are being utilized, or more machines are being used. So once again we can say that the jobless growth refers to a situation when the economy is able to produce more goods and services without a corresponding increase in the level of employment. Okay, so in other words we can say there is an increase in the growth rate or increase in GDP without the corresponding increase in the employment opportunities. Okay, so in our country, in place of labor intensive method, most of the firms are using what? Capital intensive method, and that's why in our country the jobless growth is increasing with a rapid speed. Okay, so here we can say that a structure of employment in different sectors is continuously changing, and that's why here that is given growth and changing a structure of employment. Okay, so if we want to discuss about the different sectors, so what we find that there was decline in the workforce engaged in the primary sectors because more and more peoples are being jobless, not only in the primary sectors due to the development of machine, but also the jobless growth is growing in the secondary and tertiary sectors also. Okay, so people started to migrate from the rural areas to the urban areas due to jobless growth in the primary sectors. If we discuss about the secondary sectors, we find that the growth of the secondary sector has increased with a rapid speed due to the development of private sectors or more establishment of industries by the private sectors and less intervention by the government. But here we also find that most of the private sector wants to earn maximum profit. As a result, they are using what? Capital intensive method. If we move towards the tertiary sector, it also shows the increase in the output due to better infrastructure facilities like banking, insurance and transportation, communication and so on. So in this way we find that the trends prove in this way we can say the trend of growth rate is continuously moving upwards. Either it is the primary sector or it is the secondary sector or it is the tertiary sector. Everywhere the output is continuously increasing, and it happens due to changing a structure of employment. So in a simple word you can also say that the changing a structure of employment means more and more skilled people is required for the growth and development of GDP. Okay, thank you. So we will discuss some other topics in the next videos. Okay, thank you.